Okay, so you're all very welcome here tonight. Thank you for taking the time out to join us here this evening. My name is James Byrne. I'm the chair of the MSc in Management of Operations. And from the academic side, I'm happy to be joined by some of my colleagues here in the business school, former chair of the program, Colin Foley. You'll see him there on the list of attendees as well. Also Billy Schofield, who's taken the program in the past as well. He's now a lecturer on the program. He's many years experience in industry as well. We have a former student here as well, Michelle Pringle. So near the end, I'll be taking questions and answers. So we might invite her to say one or two words about the program as well, just for anyone that's here who's interested tonight. So the plan for the session really today is to go through a short slide deck, tell you a little bit more about the business school, a little bit more information about the program itself as well. And then we'll go into our question and answer discussion session, and that will allow you to ask any questions you want from any of us who are involved in the program. I think that part of the session will probably be more useful to you, but I'll give you an overview first, and then we can get to discussion going. So hopefully at the end of all that, you will have all the information you need to make a good decision for yourself as to whether this program is the right program for you. Okay, so I'll just kick off with the slides. So just in terms of the business school, I think you'll all be somewhat familiar with DCU. Some of you may possibly be graduates, or you may be graduating this year. So I won't go into the university itself. There's sorry, someone's mic is on. Okay, that's fine. But I will give you some background on the business school. Okay, so the scale of the school is sometimes underestimated. We have quite a significant research profile. We also have about 60 nationalities represented throughout our student body. So it's a very diverse community in the business school. And outside of this diversity, it's quite large. We currently have about 3,300 students, a little bit more than that now, about 700 at postgraduate level and about 70 at PhD level. So that's a business school, not DCU as a whole, but just a business school. And we're quite strong on the research side. So if you've graduated from an undergraduate program, specifically in the business school or are close to graduating, you're also one of about 19,000 graduates who now form part of your alumni network. We also have the full-time, well, we used to have the full-time equivalent. Sorry, I'm looking at something here. Just on accreditation on the next slide. Accreditation is important in terms of the status of the qualification that you earn. So you see we're accredited by a number of bodies, probably the most notable of which is the AACSB. So you see that on your screen there on the left-hand side. That's the world's largest business education alliance. That's based in the US, and it places the business school in the top 5% of business schools globally. So we're right up there with other schools that went through the process of AACSB accreditation. And we have been approved, and we've been recently reapproved, and we're being continually monitored by the AACSB as well. And it gives us a significant standing internationally. So if you successfully complete this program, you'll have the benefit of leaving us and going into your future career with an AACSB accredited master's, which will give you some currency. In terms of employment, for those of you who graduate from this program, the 2022 QS Graduate Employment Rankings ranks DCU in the top 200 in the world for graduate employment. So we're quite strong internationally. And if you graduate from this program, you're part of 95% of our business school postgrads who are employed or in further study within 6 months. So even given recent layoffs, etc., you can expect there are strong employment opportunities upon graduation. So onto the program itself. Sorry, there's something happening with my laptop here. 1 second. So you see on the screen, we actually just this year celebrated our 25th anniversary of the program. The program itself has a rich history going back 25 years, starting in 1997, and it's been successfully delivered by DCU since. So we've had many people, taking part in this program. There's been about 2,000 graduates of the program. So again, we have an alumni network built up. That's actually quite important in terms of your own future career direction once you complete the program. So it's an ideal program for any of you looking to broaden your skills, knowledge in the area of operations, and for you to progress or upskill in this area. So the program is a 2-year part-time program. And this is the structure of the program itself. So in year one, you take two main modules worth 15 credits each. From September to January, starting in 2023, September, you would take an operations management, that's MT5229. And from January to May, you take project and operational change management. And then into year two, you take sustainable operations analytics and strategy. And then there's a dissertation component as well, with a small 5-credit module running alongside it to support it, that runs year long in year two. So digging into that, in the first year, the first module you'll be taking is operations management. And under the hood, there's 3 sub-modules worth 5 credits each. There's operations management, and that's with John Byrne, service operations management and supply chain management. So that's the first semester. They run sequentially, one after the other. So it's ideal if you are in employment, looking to take part in the evenings, etc., because the lectures occur in the evenings. They're all online. And it kicks off with operations management for the first 4 weeks, and then moves on to service operations management with Billy, who's here on the call tonight, and then on to supply chain management for the third component up to Christmas. Before Christmas, you'll be finished the first module, and the third component, supply chain management, will be with Peter English. You also deliver assignments over that time. So there's assignments across all 3 areas, and these are released sequentially as well. So you're not doing too many assignments in parallel. Typically, you'll be doing assignments to support the first 4 weeks, submitting those, and then moving on to service operations management and then supply chain management. It's the same format for the second semester. Then you move on to project management, project and change management. And that kicks off with operational change management with Colin, who's here tonight on the call as well. And then project and risk management with Raymond. And then you have a choice of sustainable logistics for the last part. Sustainable transport and logistics, or business and analytics, or business analysis and informatics. Into year two. So on year two of the program, it moves more specifically towards sustainability and analytics and strategy. Okay, so the first part is sustainable operations. That's sustainable accounting with Aideen, sustainable finance with Sandeep, and sustainable procurement with Paul Davis. And again, there'll be 3 assignments across all of those 3 areas. And the second semester of the second year, you move on to the more analytical side of things. And that's with me, with management science and operations analytics. They're the two areas that I would teach into the program. And then operations strategy to close out the thought element of the program. And that's with Professor PJ Byrne. Again, there's assignments across all of those 3 areas. The dissertation itself, it's a 20,000 word dissertation that you take part in year 2 of the program. So it's a year-long dissertation, 20,000 words. You do have workshops and tutorials supporting that. And we've got a 5-credit module called research. Well, it used to be called research for operations. It's moving towards being called research methods. Okay, so it's research methods related assignments. And it's really there to support you as you're taking part in your dissertation, to understand what research is, what research methods is, quantitative, qualitative analysis, etc. When you take part in a dissertation, you do have a supervisor specifically appointed to you for one-to-one guidance and support, and typically you meet them maybe once per month, or a little bit more frequent maybe, to step you through and guide you through the different steps of your dissertation as you're taking part in it. And typically you would do your dissertation with, analyzing maybe the organization that you're working in, or looking at industry. Some of the skills you learn as you progress through this program, you'll be able to demonstrate how to work independently, to plan, organize, and manage time. And some of the modules support that. For example, project management. When you do a formal module in that, it translates into you being able to manage your time better, being able to plan, being able to organize better for yourself, outside of what it does for being upskilled in that area in terms of applying it in industry. It helps you to identify relevant research topics and define research questions, make judgments, be selective, and also think critically. Thinking critically is a real core component of what we put across as being important as you take part in the Masters. Communicating findings, presenting clear and coherent discussions, expressing ideas by creating reasoned arguments, and relating issues to your subject area. This is really where you'd be using the dissertation, or when you take part in the dissertation, when you're really getting hands-on with a piece of research, which is the capstone of this Masters. this is where you really can relate issues back to your chosen subject area and really understand it in detail. Some points to note: it is self-directed learning. So you will be given material, you will be given content through our learning environment called Loop, and you log into this environment and you take part in it, and the learning is self-directed, and then it's supported by lectures and tutorials online that you come on and take part in, and they are interactive. Okay, so you can come into those tutorials, you can ask questions, but also there is a talk component as well, where you are taught material through those as well. So Loop is DCU's online learning environment. And in that learning environment, we have things like forums where students can collaborate together, but also collaborating with your lecturers, submitting assignments through forums. We have videos, we have different forms of content, interactive learning. And what we try and do is we build a community within each of the different modules that you're taking part in. So you're working together in some way and you feel a part of what you're doing. All assessment and feedback, etc., is also done through our system, our Loop system. The only requirements you need are a PC or a laptop, headset and broadband. All of you on this call tonight will have that, but also Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office is a license for that is given to every student for free within DCU as well. You're supported by a writing center. A lot of what we do when you're taking part in this is to submit assignments that are written. And obviously some of you may not have been near academia, for a number of years and might need to brush up on your writing skills. We do have a writing center to help support that with a number of videos and an actual center itself that you can book appointments with. They're available online as well, so you don't have to come into DCU. You can actually book an appointment online. But it'll take you through things like how to write academically, reflectively, how to write a literature review, which will form part of your dissertation, how to write a research report, and how to think critically, how to write critically to support critical thinking as well. We have a dedicated business librarian, and part of what you'll be doing in your master's is to use the library quite heavily, and we've got some very good guides in terms of using that library and online tutorials, etc. There's a Let's set of tutorials, which takes you through three areas. Let's begin, where you get an understanding of the information sources, how to locate books and articles, but also searching the databases of research, journal papers, conference papers, etc., and understanding the different techniques to find relevant research that you'll then be referencing and citing as you write reports. And Let's Cite then takes you through what plagiarism is, how to paraphrase, and different reference management tools that you can use to support your writing as well. When you finish it, the awards available are first class honours if you get over 70%, a 2-1 or 2-2, second class honours grade 1 or second class honours grade 2, that's 60 to 69, 50 to 59%, and then a third class honours is 40 to 45, 49% inclusive. And the fees per annum are 6,650 across 2 years, and these can be paid in 2 installments, 60% at registration, 40% in January 2024 if you choose to go that way. And entry requirements. Okay, so for any of you here tonight, if you have a 2-1 honours degree in something like engineering, business, information technology, anything that's relevant in a relevant discipline, if you have a 2-1 honours degree, that will allow you into the program. If you have a non-relevant 2-1 honours degree with at least 3 years relevant managerial work experience, that's enough to get you in as well. And applicants of a 2-2, they may also obtain a place. So if you are thinking of applying and you have a 2-2 honours degree, please go ahead and apply, and then we can assess that on our side. Those of you who have a level 7 qualification in a relevant discipline or non-chartered membership of a professional body with at least 3 years management work experience as well can gain access to the program. If you have chartered membership of an institution like the Institute of Engineers of Ireland, or a professional body like the Institute of Chartered Accountants, again you can gain access. And we do have a pathway to enter the program as well. If you can provide substantial relevant managerial work experience, again, you'd have to go through an assessment process. So you submit your evidence of this, and then this will be assessed on our side as to whether you could be admitted to the program. And in terms of how to apply, you can go onto the website. The URL is here, or you can just search in Google for the MSc in Management of Operations. DCU, and it should bring you to the page in the business school. And on the left hand side, you'll see a little box that looks like this, and you just click the apply now button, and that will take you through. There's videos to show you how to apply as well once you go through that process. Okay, I'll just move on to the question and answer session. Colin, do we have questions coming in the chat box?
There was just one question there about the time commitment that we guide for non-class time, and really it depends on what's going on at any point in time, but we guide 20 to 25 hours per week.
Okay, thanks, Colin. Has anyone any more questions about the program? If you'd like to open your mics, or if you'd like to just type in the chat box, feel free.
I suppose just James, while we're waiting on questions there, to say that the material in this particular program is very pragmatic and applicable. So I know we have some people who are already doing the grad cert on the call, but and they will know that really you can start using the materials that you learn in this particular course straight away in an everyday setting, and we like to build on the experience that you've got, because there's quite a mix of people from different backgrounds. We're all bringing their particular expertise to bear on the course, and we encourage them to do that. That way everybody sort of learns from their experience and gets a network opportunity as well. One of the big advantages of this particular program is its flexibility. So whether you're a nighttime person or a morning person, you can guide your study around your own particular habits and your lifestyle, your demands from work and from family commitments and so on and so forth. So it does offer that level of flexibility.
Thanks, Colin. Michelle, would you like to say a couple of things about the program? Michelle took part in this program a few years back, and she has been an advocate of the program since, but she's here to take any questions as well that you might have from the student point of view. Yeah, Michelle.
Okay. So, I mean, we are talking a number of years since I graduated, actually 2011. So with regards to the program itself at that time, it was a very positive experience. It was all remote. The materials were very relevant. And what I found in particular was that point made by Colin. We had such a variety of people from very different backgrounds coming together. So topics such as supply chains, management change, strategic management, all of that. There was lots to hear, but there's a very generic world in all of those spaces, and it was just interesting. I like to see John Byrne, not that I have favorites or anything, but John was, as was Colin, they were fantastic tutors in terms of giving feedback to the assignments and giving really constructive feedback around those assignments in a timely manner, so that when you were going to write the next assignment, you knew, well, you know, I've had my feedback, etc. I was also on the program board for about 10 years, Colin. And I mean, the experts from one of the guys from Griffith College, but there was also people from industry and everything. There was also the people in the world of sustainability, and they were all very interesting experts in the area. So when you talk about the program, it's very important to talk about how it's aligned with industry and real world. So you are learning how it works in practice. But most of all, for me, I was working in DCU. I kept it very much a secret that I was doing this program, but the relevance of the role to the higher education sector and how it works, I found the program material really, really useful. And then the supports around the library, writing centres, you know, they are developing annually, and they're just, the library in particular is fantastic. So I would highly recommend the program, and it works really well when you're working full time. It fits in whether you're a morning person or the evening person, but also those groups that form. They didn't have WhatsApp when I was there, but we had a really good social using Moodle. So there was a lot of contributions. There was little groups forming as part of the cohort, even though, to be honest, some of the people I never met, and I still didn't meet them at the graduation, but you became very much a network. So I have to say, I'm very biased, and it's highly, highly recommended.
Thanks, Millie, Michelle. Does anyone want to ask any questions?
Hi, it's Patrick here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Patrick. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I think it was you, James, who mentioned that for some of us, it's been a while since we were in a university setting, at least for me. So how would the course be delivered, let's say, in terms of textbooks and materials? I guess it's all online now.
Yeah, we have it all online. It's all delivered through that system that I mentioned, through Loop. Okay, so there's a number of different textbooks that have been developed over time across some of the modules, and then we've got newer ways to interact as well, through videos, through forums, etc. But also we do point you towards the library as well, where actually since COVID there's been a kind of a huge increase in the availability of books that you can actually take out as a student, that are available to you. Once you have an account with DCU, you can go into the library, and a huge amount of books have moved online or have online versions now. So we do try and point you towards those books as well that are available for you to kind of do additional reading, but also, as core textbooks for some of the modules as well, we would point you in the direction of the actual books you can get through the library. So books are one thing, but also we do develop material and content online as well, that you can interact with it online through that system.
Yeah, thanks. Clear.
Yeah.
I think
Billy, sorry, go ahead.
Just to add to that, Patrick, it takes you a while to get into the swing of things in terms of academic writing when you get back, but that experience is the same for most of the people in your class as well. And it's not like a school environment in the sense that you're all sort of mature adults, and you can help one another, and that's what happens on the forums. People eke out information and share it with one another, and discuss relevant pragmatic stuff in the context of where they work. So you're coming at it from a different angle, and you're not as such competing with one another. You're sort of we would encourage you to have a kind of a study buddy, because it is isolated. You're not face to face in your classroom, you're online. So it does help, although you do have discussions on discussion forums, it does help to buddy up with somebody and just sort of bat the breeze about what's happening, what's coming down the track, what are your deadlines, and what you need to do next. And typically, people do that and meet up, sort of, if they're in the same geographic area, or if they, have a common interest, and maybe on a Saturday have a cup of coffee or a pint if things are bad, and bat the breeze. But in terms of progressing, then, as people find their feet and get into the framework of writing academically, by the time it comes to writing the dissertation, because you choose the topic that you write your dissertation on, it's something that's relevant to you personally. You're an expert in that field. You know the procedures and the academic format to produce work in at that stage, and inevitably people come up with outstanding dissertations that are relevant to them and that pave the way for advancement, either within their own company or a passageway out to do something completely different. You were going to bring Billy in there, I think, James.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Billy, I was just going to say, you've taken the program in the past as well, but it's gone back a number of years, and obviously You spent a long time in industry as well, and being able to kind of bring what you've learned on the program through to the practice side in industry. Can you speak to that a little bit, maybe?
Yeah. So my name's Billy Schofield, and I done the program in 2016. I started it and graduated in 2018 after taking redundancy from my position in industry. And I hadn't been at university since I left university in 1984 when I graduated with a degree in applied physics. So that was quite a gap, 1984 to 2016, to go into formal education again. And I was petrified when I started, about writing articles, writing a 2,000-word article. But very quickly, I found that I did have the ability to do that. And there was support from the university to help me get my writing, get my critical thinking skills back up to speed. And I learned to really enjoy doing my assignments and writing articles. And the whole program, I really found it very transformative for myself personally in operations management, an area that I knew some information from my working life, but really being able to put that academic expertise on it really made it transformative for me. It developed my writing skills, it developed my critical thinking skills, and it gave me the confidence to go out and start my own company, my own training company, Billy Schofield Training. And now eventually today, I'm a lecturer in the business school, a full-time lecturer in the business school. And I never thought I would be able to do that back in 2016. And it's doing this program with the support of the university that helped me make that transformation from taking redundancy from industry, being made redundant, long time since formal education. And now I'm actually an assistant professor at DCU Business School. That was my story.
Oh, thanks, Billy. I think that kind of it tells its own story as to how good you've found the program. And it is important to say that like this program is designed and has evolved over the past 20 years to support people who are out in the working world, who are out in industry, who are looking to upskill, who are looking to move up, or who are looking to just do something in the area of operations management, maybe just gain more knowledge, gain more insights as to what's happening, or even just find out what is the latest. And you find when you do the program, and we found out across students who took part in the program that they have been able to use what they've learned very effectively in their organizations as well. And when it comes to the point of completing the taught elements of the program across project management, supply chain management, sustainable operations, analytics, you find when you're taking part in the dissertation, you're bringing all of the kind of academic side, the stuff that you've learned in those taught elements. So you're bringing all of that in. You're looking at something like a case within industry, or trying to find a research question, trying to identify a research question that's relevant to maybe your own organization or something you're very interested in, and you're able to bring all of that learning through over that time, over those 2 years, towards that dissertation as well, to make it into something that's very useful and very unique to yourselves, but also that can be very beneficial in the organization. You find at the end of that whole process that you're well embedded in the area of operations, and you're right up to date with what's happening in the space over that time of all of that reading, all of that writing that you've done. Billy said a couple of very good things in the past about why we write as well. If you want to speak a bit about that, Billy, because you've mentioned that in the past, why you found writing a very good way of assessing.
Yeah, and what I say to all the students now is writing helps you think, but by writing, it also helps you critically analyze your thought process. And by writing things down, it actually improves your way of thinking. And so I encourage all the students to write things down. It's when you write it down in words on a piece of paper that it really challenges your thinking and your knowledge. And then even the next stage from that is when you actually have to present it or lecture on it. And that really challenges your knowledge and thinking about it. So that's what I found about writing in a regular, doing a bit more writing than the two-sentence email that I was used to from 34 years in industry. But then suddenly writing 1,000, 2,000, 300,000 word assignments, it really, really challenged my thinking. If you can write well, then you know that your thinking is strong.
Yes, and it's paced as well. So the program, in the way it's designed across the 2 years, the initial assignments that you've taken part in, it's not expected that they're going to be world-beating assignments that you submit. It's really to get you up to speed with that process of writing and that process of understanding through writing. The first module you take is a 4-week operations management module. That's general operations management, with some writing assignments, some assignments to get you going, working together as a group. And out the other side of that, and over the next 4 weeks and over the next 4 weeks, as you start producing more and more assignments, you're building on what you've learned previously and building up that skill. And that's why the library is very important, but also that writing center to help to support you in your writing. So by the time you get to the end of the 2 years, again, you'll have written a very long dissertation as well. But that's really designed for you to put your thoughts into words and evolve in terms of your own thinking and your own understanding as you go through it. In terms of the lectures themselves, or in terms of the tutorials, there's typically maybe one evening a week. There can be some weeks without any, sometimes there's 2, but it's that sort of time commitment where you're coming online in the evening at about 7 o'clock in the evening, and you'll probably be there until about 7:30, 9 o'clock across the module. So for one 4-week block, or for one 4-week module, you probably have 4 supporting tutorials or lectures, and otherwise it is self-learning, and we're available to you then to support you as you go through that journey as well. I see Paul Davis is on the call here as well. Paul, would you like to say a couple of words about the sustainable operations module? Paul is the lecturer who's over the sustainable operations side of things.
Thanks, James. I think one of the things we found is the people came in, and in the sustainable operations, we're doing finance, we're doing accounting, and then we're doing a little bit of supply chain and procurement mixed in with it. And we had students who were reticent in coming in, particularly on trying to do finance and accounting. And it was the engagement of being presented with new material, but in a way that they could grasp it and see the application of it. And I think that's what's different about the program. We're trying to get you to start thinking about the application of the tool sets and the knowledge that you're doing. So it's not just about learning per rote, and it's not just about writing, but it's that application of it. And certainly we found students extremely excited by being able to engage with that material. So there are 3 lecturers that deliver that one module, and between the 3 of us, we deliver it slightly differently. We break up the weeks, whereby it's almost sequentially delivered, each of the modules for 1 week, and then go back out. But what it does is we're trying to get students to realize that, and particularly the MOPS program is very good at it, is that all of the elements come together. So the idea of the dissertation, the project at the end, starts to pull all of that information that you've been learning over the course of about a year and a half together for you to apply in your company or in your organization. And I think certainly when we did the sustainable operations, we found real engagement with people, and people coming back and saying, God, I was scared of finance, but I'm not now. I can see where the application is. And it's learning to ask questions. So it's not just learning to reflect, it's learning to ask questions. That is the one benefit that I've seen with the master's students as they go through. The ability to be able to ask questions of people that they maybe were nervous of previously, and the comfort that they have of saying, I have some understanding, but I need to know more. So now I'm going to be able to ask those questions. Don't know whether that makes sense, but certainly our students are excited by it. And I have to say, I've been involved with the program, I think now 18 years. So between writing material, tutors, supervising, and I have to say it's been one of my favorite programs of all time, particularly because of the actions coming from the students, the participation, the enthusiasm that they bring. I think Michelle summed it up. It's just the engagement. It's one of those unique programs. We've been very fortunate with it.
Yeah, and I also think that there's been a really nice kind of alumni network that's built up over time. You've seen that we've ran our 25th anniversary of the program there recently, and on the night where there was many stories going back in time of people coming back together to meet each other again, and that But that network that you become a part of as well, I think is quite important, a quite important outcome of it, because you don't just leave the program at the end and graduate, but you also build up the network of alumni that, you know, that help and support each other as well. You do build friendships, even though it is an online program. We've seen that over time that those friendships are lasting, but also that people still stay connected and connect back in with us as well. And we've had some successes as well from students who've come out the other side at the dissertation level and have gone on to do other things. Recently, there's one that came through not the last iteration, but just the iteration before, and went on to present at a major international conference. They're in the area of healthcare operations. And we've seen that time and time again where, you know, after coming out of this program, people do move up and do different things on the back of having completed it. So it's a very nice program to take part in that way, and that network is always there for you to engage with as well. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for attending here tonight. And if you have any questions after this, obviously feel free to email any of us in the program or send in your queries through the business school as well, and we'd be happy to answer them as well.